An old school moniker in sales is always be closing. That is, always be asking for the sale. Some years ago, I remember reading a book about Google Analytics. I believe it was written by one of the Eisenberg guys. Always be testing. No, it's not the kind of testing you think about of in education. Always be testing. Always be testing one strategy versus another strategy to see what you can learn, what you can make better when it comes to your website and that sort of thing. In business, there is also the field of analytics. There's business intelligence, where we look at numbers, we look at data, we look at spreadsheets, and we're looking to see what we can flesh out. Where are we having our best success? Where are we losing money? Where's our cash coming from? What things are demanding our cash and really not giving us a significant return? There's just a sea of data that we can have. There's analytics, and one of the first places that many people in the business world first were exposed to kind of a meaningful definition of analytics is that book Moneyball, about Billy Beane and the Oakland Athletics and his assessment of players. I'm oversimplifying the whole thing, but the challenge was, is there a way that we can find out if can we predict a player's performance by examining all of the, baseball's a numbers game, all of the stats that are kept? Is there something that we can do so that we can flesh out the players out there who could be competitive at the major league level, but might not demand $10 million a year contracts? Well, Boston and many other teams have since jumped on board and looking harder at stats, and not just the stats that baseball has historically looked at, but looking at some unique ways of looking at things. Sir Ken, in his famous TED speech some years ago, he uttered the idea that if you're not prepared to be wrong, there won't be any innovation. And so this whole notion of always be testing, well, here's a better word that we would probably prefer in education: try, or trying. Always be trying. Well, the huge problem, the elephant in the room with trying, is fear, anxiety, worry, nervous, trepidation. It's uncomfortable to try things, and so we get stuck, we do things, and we continue to do things. And quite frankly, in so many cases, in business and sports and in education, we just do what we did. We do what we've always done. And we really don't, unless we have to, we don't often examine, is it working? Does it work? Now, in the business sector, you have to, because, well, keeping your doors open demands it. You've got to be testing. You've got to be trying. You've got to be always in this mode of self-examination, because if you're not, well, the numbers will prove it. Some of the first signs that show up, well, okay, invoices get paid a little bit late. Sometimes making payroll is a struggle. And if that persists long enough, then you know the end of the story. Game over, business is closed. Well, unless the government completely intervenes, schools don't often close. They continue to operate. The customers, the kids, continue to show up day after day. The faculty continues to show up day after day. Now, what they do in the time that they are there may or may not be profitable. Sometimes it may be profitable. Other times it may be just doing time. Always be trying. Always be trying. Always be doing one thing and holding it up against doing something else. Most notably, there are many things that a classroom teacher could try and examine those in light of what's been tried. Which one's better? In so many cases, it's no different than any other endeavor in life, business, sports. Pick the field. What is there to lose? By trying something, what is there to lose? Usually not much. But maybe the biggest thing that we have to lose is what we imagine in our head that we have to lose. Well, what if it doesn't work? Oh, why couldn't we just as easily ask, well, what if it works? What if it works like a champ? I've tried some things in my past life as a business guy. I may have tried something 15, 20 years ago. It might not have worked quite like I had hoped. And then, for whatever reason, I maybe it's something that just gnawed at me. Maybe I think, that was a pretty good idea. I'm not sure why that didn't work, and I wonder, would that work now? And so I resurrect it. I bring it and I throw it in front of the staff, and we hash it around, and we get our hammers out, and we kind of hammer out a few rough spots, and we try it. Well, sometimes it's worked like a champ. Because sometimes I had pulled it at the wrong time. 15 years ago, the timing was wrong. Maybe the people that implemented it, we weren't as capable as the people who were capable of implementing it now. A lot of variables can change. But, we get really stuck in our beliefs. We get really stuck with our notions, and it would be very easy to dig in my memory bank and think, wait a minute, I tried that once before 15 years ago and that didn't work, and be totally convinced that I'm right. Be totally convinced that's a bad idea. It was bad then. I tried it one time and it failed, and that's all she wrote. And when I think of that, I think about my son, who's now 30, and when he was a little boy, he got a pogo stick. Now, he was then, and still is, not the most patient person on the planet when it comes to his own accomplishment and the things that he hopes to do. And he's ridiculously competitive. Very driven. Good things in context. Well, he jumps on this pogo stick, and as you can well imagine, he didn't master it right off the bat. No one does. I mean, come on. Getting on a pogo stick is such a unique experience if you've never been on a pogo stick. I mean, I can't think of anything else that could be quite, maybe a unicycle. I mean, something that it would be completely foreign. And it's not like, well, okay, I can take the skills that I've learned doing this and apply that. No, it's just such a foreign experience to our normal everyday mode of transportation, walking around, running. He hopped on it and, of course, gave it a real short try. Didn't make it. Done. Throws it down. No, I mean, couldn't do it. And sometimes I think we approach life, and we approach challenges, and we approach even our thoughtful solutions with kind of that same ridiculous childlike behavior. Well, that won't work. Well, how do you know? Well, I tried it once, couldn't do it. And so for me, there's kind of these two concepts which provoke today's show. The idea of taking on the initiative to give something a try. To try something, and to try something compared to something else. Most notably, to try something different from what we're doing now. To test the status quo. To see, is there a better way? Are there things that we might do that might make learning more effective? That might make engaging these students happen at a higher level? Might there be something that we could try? If it doesn't work, is it a monumental setback? I mean, what really have we risked? Not much. Not much. Probably nothing at all. What we have probably put at risk is by not doing it, And as a result, not finding a better way, which might have been there all along had we simply given it a try. But the other thing I think that we risk is we risk our preconceived ideas. We risk our notion that we don't think it'll work. You ever thrown out a new idea and had somebody, I know you have, if you've had a new idea at all, and you've ever put it out there for public consumption, you've experienced this. We all have. And immediately people shoot it down. Oh, no, that'll never work. Have you ever wondered why people are wired like that, as opposed to people being wired to immediately seeing the possibility? Well, yeah, that could work. I mean, I wouldn't expect people to pipe up and go, oh, yeah, that'll work. That'll work. Wouldn't we all just fall over dead if we threw out an idea and somebody chimed in with that response? I'd be perfectly satisfied. I'd be perfectly happy. I would be quite thrilled, to tell you the truth, to throw out an idea and have someone say, you know, that could work. And sometimes, just sometimes in my past, that has happened. You know what? That just might work. Well, here's kind of the third point. How are you going to know? How are you going to know if it'll work or not if you don't try it? Well, don't ponder that one too long, because I'll give you the answer. The answer is you can't. You can't possibly know unless you try it. And there's the rub. There's the real big rub. We need to be trying things. We need to be, okay, pick whatever moniker you like, pushing the envelope, coloring outside the lines, working outside the box. All of those really are just synonymous with experiment, try something. Try something. Yeah, in some cases, maybe it's something rather dramatic, and in other cases, it might not be so dramatic at all, but it might just be dramatic enough difference to make a real dramatic difference. And you never know until you try. So, bottom line, always be trying. Always be trying to be better. Always be trying to improve. Always be trying to challenge yourself and challenge those around you, including the kids, including the students, because, well, it's the stuff of life. Problem solving, overcoming difficulty, figuring out a way around or through or under or over a challenge, that's the stuff of life. It absolutely is the stuff of life. My name is Randy Cantrell. The website is leaningtowardwisdom.com. I have two requests. I want to end this with two requests. One, visit the Facebook page. It's a relatively new page, facebook.com/Bula, B-U-L-A, Network. Bula Network's the company name. Go over there. I would appreciate it if you would click the like button. My second request, for those of you in education, go to the website at leaningtowardwisdom.com. Click on that orange button. It's completely free. I would like to invite you to participate in the Leaning Toward Wisdom think tank. Just click the orange button. If you want to see an explanation of it, you can go to the home page, and there's a short 3-minute video that talks about it if you want to know more. But if you don't, just click the orange button. Free, no obligation whatsoever. But I'd like to have your involvement there. Higher interaction. Until next time, I'll see you.